Good morning, students. So we are going to discuss about continuation to yesterday's class, that is types of computers. And already we started discussion about the computer. What is a computer and how it is going to be work, and what is the analytical engine, in what way the computer can be used for processing the task that we have seen. And now we are going to discuss about the types of computers. So here, if you see, look at the computers, basically personal computers and mainframe computers, mini computers, supercomputers. Like this, there is a classification, and whatever the computers we are going to be used for our day-to-day routine activities, those are treated as personal computers, right? And the systems which we can see around, that is in schools, colleges, home, office, all those are general purpose systems. Those are treated as personal computers. And if you look at the computer is an electronic device that processes data, converting it into information. So what you are going to do, so it is going to accept the data, the computer is going to accept the data, and the data can be processed, and it is going to give information. It is going to give information. So what is data? Data is a raw form of material. Raw form of material. So how it is going to be converted? It is going to be converted into information. What is information? Information is useful data. Information is useful data. So here the data, raw form of material, is going to be converted into useful format with the help of computer. So that is the basic purpose of a computer, which we are going to be used for processing the task. And another kind of computers we are going to treat it as mainframe computers. So these are going to be used for large organizations. So what is large organization? So here, whenever we are going to be used for some particular applications, like for manufacturing, some industry oriented, so there we are going to use mainframe computers. So here an intelligent terminal can perform some processing operations, but it usually does not have any storage. So mainframe environments, however, workers can use a standard personal computer to access the mainframe. So again, the mainframe computer purpose is the computational capability is very high. So for large organizations, generally we are going to use the mainframe computers. And again, in order to access the mainframe computer, what is required? A terminal which is going to be acting as a mini computer or personal computer can be used for accessing the mainframe computer. And based on the size of the computers, we are going to small size computers. Those are mini computers. Okay, so these lies between mainframe are large computers, and personal computers are middle range, and the mini computers are often called mid-range computers. So in between the mainframe and personal computers, we are going to find the mini computers. And supercomputer. What is a supercomputer? So generally, supercomputers are the computers where we are going to use scientific applications. So such applications are going to be used supercomputers. Okay. So whenever we are going to say NASA, such some rocket launching, there we are going to use the supercomputers. The efficiency and the performance of these computers are very high. So because of complex applications, whenever we are going to use complex application, there we are going to require the supercomputers. And parts of the computer. So the computer, software, data, user. So who are the persons? 4 systems here are going to be utilized. One is the computer, the machine which we are going to be used. So that is the hardware part. And software, in the sense, already in the yesterday's class we had a detailed discussion about what is hardware, what is software. Hardware are the physical components, and software is the logical component. So what is the physical, what is logical? Physical we can touch and feel, logical we can feel the result of the activity, right? And here data is a input which we are going to be provide to the system to process. And who is the person who is going to operate the computer? So he will be the user. And so regarding this, we already discussed hardware, software, data, and users. And see here, whenever we are going to process what is the process cycle? So it is going to have the input. And already we discussed about the CPU. What is CPU? CPU consists of memory unit, control unit, ALU. So yesterday we had a discussion about the computer. There we have seen 3-step model. What is that? Input model, output, in between some process is going to be performed. This process we require CPU. So the CPU consists of majorly 3 parts. What are the 3 parts? Memory unit, control unit, ALU. Memory unit, what is memory? Memory is required to store the data. Yes, sir. So basically in order to store the data, what we are going to use? Memory is compulsory. And control unit is going to control the entire system. And arithmetic logic unit, in order to perform arithmetic and logical operations, what we are going to use? ALU unit we are going to be used. Clear? So these are the 3 major modules which are involved in the CPU. The CPU consists of memory module. Already yesterday we discussed memory can be primary memory and auxiliary memory, right? And the control unit in order to control the system functionality. And ALU, arithmetic logic unit. So we can discuss, see there, memory devices. So the memory basically 2 types. There are 2 different types of memory, primary memory and secondary memory, right? So here these memories are also treated as RAM and ROM. RAM in the sense random access memory, and ROM in the sense read-only memory. So the RAM is volatile in the sense it is going to consist the current data. If you are going to restart the system, the data which is stored in the RAM will be erased. So every time whenever you are going to assign the new task data is going to be loaded into the RAM, it will be processed, then it is going to be assigned for next task, then the previous data is going to be eliminated from the RAM memory, just like primary memory what we discussed in yesterday's class. Okay, and ROM is a permanent basis. That means what is permanent basis? It is non-volatile. If you restart the system also, the memory cannot be erased from the system. So once it is stored in the data, until and unless you delete the data, it will not be erased from your computer. So that is the case with ROM. Okay, so the memory can be 2 types, RAM and ROM. So RAM deals with task which is going to be performed, and whenever if you're going to restart the system, the data will be erased, and whenever you are going to assign the next task, the data is going to be erased. So if it is a ROM, it is quite opposite to RAM. That means the data which you are going to be stored, it will be lies permanent basis. Okay, and so it's a resource managed from, see this, all the computer resources are managed from control unit. So the control unit is going to control the entire system. So traffic signal directing the flow of data through the CPU as well as and from other devices. So whatever the data which you are going to be provided to the system, it has to be controlled, it has to be managed. So who is going to take care of all those activities? Control unit will take care of all those activities. And what is ALU? ALU is going to perform arithmetic operations and logical operations. What are the arithmetic operations? Already we are familiar with addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. These are all the operations which comes under arithmetic. And whatever the and logical are, you already learned, na? So those comes under logical operations. So in order to perform the arithmetic and logical operations, what we are going to use? ALU unit is going to be involved. Okay, while processing the task, we require to use some computations, some calculations. So for that purpose, we are using ALU. Okay, and input-output devices. Already we discussed, in order to give the input to the system, we are going to use input devices like keyboard, mouse, joystick, scanner, digital camera, touch screen. These are all the various input devices which are going to be used to give input to the system. Why we need to give the input? If you are able to give the input, then only the data can be processed by the system, then only we are going to get the expected results, right? And output devices, so where we can find the results. Yes or no? So here these are the devices where we can find the results, like monitor, speaker, printer. These are the output devices. And printer, if you take the printer, is a kind of output device. And there are different types of printers like dot matrix printers, inkjet printers. So whatever the printers you see in the current scenario, those are all laser printers. So the laser printers are, the speed of printing speed is very high. So they are a bit expensive compared to previous printers like inkjet printer and dot matrix printer. So the speed is very less, the cost is also less. Okay, but the maintenance is very high for dot matrix and inkjet. So coming to the laser printer, the speed is very high, so we are going to get multiple prints within less amount of time. Operating system. So already we discussed in the last class what is the role of operating system. So in order to make functioning for any device, what we require, operating system is required, right? So this is also known as system software. System software makes a device to function. That means in order to make the device active or alive, what we can use the system software. So that is operating system. There are different types of operating systems. Like for computers, we are going to use the Windows, Linux, Macintosh, different operating systems we are going to be used. And for mobile phones, whatever the operating systems, we familiar with Android, and again we can use the Windows also, we can use the iOS. These are the various operating systems which are going to be utilized for functioning the mobile phone, right? And coming to types of operating system: real-time operating system, single user, single tasking operating system, multi-user, multitasking operating system. So that means, so here we are going to see real-time operating system, very fast, and it is going to be used for all kind of devices, circuit devices. And here, whenever the application is going to be run, the real-time scenarios, we are going to use the real-time operating system. So this single user operating system can be used for single system and multi-purpose, single task purpose and multiple tasks purpose. We are going to use the single. See this. Real-time applications are needed to run medical diagnostics equipment, life support systems, machinery, scientific instruction, industrial systems. These are all the various applications or various areas where we are going to use the real-time operating system. And single user, single tasking. So in order to perform just one task at one time, at a time we are going to deal with only one task. So such things are MS-DOS operating system is a example for single user, single tasking operating system. So Microsoft Disk operating system. So this is command based, it is not a graphical based, okay? And single user multitasking. Whenever we are going to perform multiple tasks parallelly, then what we are going to use, single user multitasking operating system is going to be required. And multiple users want to work for common task, then multi-user multitasking system is going to be utilized. Next, the structure of keyboard. Generally the keyboard is input device which is used to give the input to the system. It consists of around 100 keys, standard keyboard like this. This is the structure of layout of keyboard. If you are able to see, already you people are aware of it, okay? You have used it. Nowadays everyone is familiar with computers. These are the arrow keys, these are the shortcut keys, center key, space bar, control key, alt, caps lock, shift key. So these are all different types of keys which we can find with the keyboard. And the mouse, you know that there we can see a mouse is a input device which can be operated, and USB mouse. Nowadays we are going to use laser mouse and wired mouse, wireless mouse. There is a different type of classifications are there. And storage. So storage, already we discussed in the last class regarding the storage, why the storage is required. If we are able to store the data, then only we can process it, yes or no? So here some type of storage devices are there, like disk drives, hard disk drives, and floppy disk. And you people are not aware of floppy disk. It was around 10 years ago we need to use the floppy disk. The size of the floppy disk is very less, so we use it to store the data in MBs only. Do you aware of it? The size can be, actually the memory can be measured in terms of bits, okay? The memory can be measured in terms of bits. So 8 bits equal to 1 byte, okay? And 1024 bytes equal to 1 kilobyte. 1024 KB equals to 1 MB. 1024 MB equals to 1 GB. So this is the way we are going to measure the storage, and here, so this is the floppy drive structure. So the floppy sliding shutter, a disk jet hub, drive hole, index hole, and here we need to lock and unlock. Nowadays we are not using the floppy disks because of the limitation is the very less storage capability, and in place of floppy disk, then the CD-ROMs came into scope, and again upgraded to DVD-ROMs, so where we can store the data. And CD, compact disk read-only memory. CD stands for compact disk read-only memory. So CD-ROM. So here CD can be used for storing the data, and DVD, digital video disc. Digital video disc, it is also used to store the data on a permanent basis. And video cards, sound systems, output devices, sound cards. So like this is the basic information about the computer. So you need to remember few things, that is, what is an input device, what are the examples, what is the output device, what are the examples, what is a CPU, what are the major parts, CU, ALU, memory. And again the memory is classified into RAM and ROM. What is RAM, what is ROM? Okay. And next, what is a software, what is a hardware? Again, software, system software, application software. What is an operating system? What are the types of operating systems? Okay, these are the important points of introduction to computers, right? Thank you one and all.